Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia and you can find me online as Pearl of the Pacific. Today is Sunday, February 7th, and this is episode 108. Hello and welcome everyone. This is my knitting podcast. I have some knitting to show you and some other fun things to show you and talk about, so let's get started. Below the conch shell, we still have the January-February knit along going on for anything that you knit in blue and or white. So post your finished object pictures in the thread in the Ravelry group, which is Knitted Paradise Podcast. You can find that by going on Ravelry and searching for Knitted Paradise in the Groups tab, or if you're watching on my website, which is pearlofthepacific.info, there's a link on one of the sides. I don't know which one it is. I think it's that one, but everything's backwards, so it might be that one. There's a link that says like join the Ravelry group. It's the one with all the stuff in it. Like there's nothing on the other side, so it's pretty obvious which side it's on. So that's another way to get there if you're wondering how to get to the group. The other announcement that I've talked about before is that I will be attending the Knitting Pipeline Retreat at the end of February. It's that last weekend in February. And so if you're going, let me know. I'd love to say hi to you. Or just come find me if you're there. Come find me and say hi. Yeah, I'm still looking for a ride down. I'm planning on going down on Friday and coming back on Saturday. And we're a one-car family, so I'm trying to avoid commandeering the car for a whole weekend. And I mean, you can get places here by train. That's how I get to work most of the time because my husband needs the car to get to work. It's not hard to get around. It's just trickier if you don't have a car. On the island, I have one thing. I have my Sesame Street socks, which I showed you last week in planning, and I've now started them. And I almost have one done. Ta-da! Oh, where's the other one? I think I stuck it in there. We'll see. I forgot where the other one is. So I actually started on the other one and I got through 3 stripes, and I had been carrying the yarn and switching colors on the side, and I just didn't like how it looked. There was a bunch of holes. Let me see if I shoved it in here. Oh, I did. I was so smart. Haha. So here's the first one. And I did 3 stripes, and I was carrying the yarn up the side, and it just was super messy. There's holes in some places, and it was all over the place, and I just didn't like it. And so I was like, what if I do it up the bottom of the foot? And I had already kind of figured some things out about how to change the stripes and weave in one of the ends. So I wove in the starting end. I just kind of knit with it as I went. So the second sock I did it on the bottom of the foot because I'm like, no one's really going to see the bottom of the foot, and then continued up the back of the leg. And they're a little bit messy, but I'm hoping they'll block out a little bit. I got better as I went, which is nice. I mean, you can still see where I made the changes, but they'll be better. So I still have one end to weave in for all of them. So I've got this top end. The other one, I don't know if you can kind of see, but it's already been knitted in right there. And I realized that if I knit it in on the first row, I created a hole right there where I started it. And so what I did is I knit the first round in the stripe. And then on the second round, the second round, I picked up and knit with the end that I started with and the working yarn, but I did it 1 stitch before the change, and that pulled that hole closed, which was what I was looking for, so that worked out. And that's how I did that. And I did do the jogless stripe method that I don't know where I learned this from, but on the second round, so when you're starting a new color, you knit a whole round, and then on the second round, that starting stitch, you pick up and you knit into the stitch below it and the first stitch, and it will stretch out. You can see this white one. It's kind of stretched out, but it creates the overall appearance of a jogless stripe. which, you know, because you knit in a spiral, so when you start a new color, there's a jog there, so it creates this illusion of the jogless stripe. So that's what I did, and I suppose I should tell you what yarn this is. So the white is Cascade Heritage in white, and all the lovely colors here are a set of Sesame Street mini skeins from Another Crafty Girl. And I've got, they came in 2 sets of 7, so I've got 14 here. And I did 7 on my foot and 7 on the leg. Worked out somehow. It's a little shorter sock than I would normally do, but I am going to knit probably a long bit of ribbing here. But I mean, it's the same length, which is a normal sock for most people, where the leg matches the foot. I like them longer, but that's me. So let's see if I can remember all of these. This is the Grouch, this is Elmo, this is the Count, Big Bird, Rosita, Telly Monster, Zoe, Cookie Monster, Abby Cadabby, which was a new one to me, it's not one I grew up with, Mr. Snuffleupagus. Oh, this Sherlock Hemlock. This is the one we had the hardest time figuring out. Bert, Ernie, and Grover. So there you go. 14 Sesame Street characters. And I love it. So I did the toe and the heel, and I'm going to do the cuff in the Cascade. And then in between I did 2 rounds of the Cascade just to break up the stripes. And then I did 7 rounds of each color. And I really liked how that turned out. I have a ton left over. I mean, they were huge balls. So they don't look any smaller to me than when I knit them. So I realized I could have knit longer stripes, but I like the way this looks. So I'm going to keep them. And I didn't actually do a gusset for the heel. I did 60 stitches around, which is okay for me. I might actually be able to go down a few. But I just did a straight fish lips kiss heel with no gusset. So, and it's okay. It pulls a little bit, but not terribly. I put them on last night finally, and they fit fine. But I started. So remember last time I was telling you that my husband asked me if he thought, like, he's like, do you think you could knit a pair of socks in a day? Well, I think I can now. Because I knit the toes earlier in the week and then started on this sock before realizing that I didn't want to carry the yarn up the side. So I will rip these back and then reknit them probably today. And so Friday night, I decided I wanted to work more on this, so I picked up the other sock and knit from here to like here, maybe here, I don't remember. And then turned the heel. Yeah, I must have done it Friday. I must have turned the heel Friday night. And I wasn't knitting for that long, but these stripes are super quick. I think I can do each stripe in like 12 minutes or something. It's ridiculous. And then yesterday, in between chores and everything else, I knit the rest of it and then did the ribbing in bed right before I went to sleep. So this is super quick, and because I don't knit stockinette socks mainly for myself, and even with the changing of the stripes and everything, it didn't take very long. So I'm really happy with those, and I'm really excited to do the other one. It's weird, I got so used to doing 2 at a time socks that getting them done at different times is really weird for me. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm done. Oh, but I'm not done. Oh, I just zipped the yarn into the zipper. All right, well, I'll deal with that later. So getting them done at different times is really strange for me. I've done one at a time a couple times, and it's just like as soon as I finish the first one, I'm like, oh my god, where's the second one? It's not done yet. Okay, cast it on and go. So that second sock syndrome has never been a problem for me, mainly because I'm used to knit them 2 at a time. And now I just like knitting them in tandem. That seems to work the best. I've solved my gauge issue. I don't know what happens when I knit them 2 at a time. It's really weird because you'd think knitting them at the same time would make them fairly even because you're knitting the same part of the sock at the same time rather than alternating them at different times of the day or different, situations or whatever. But somehow, I don't know, maybe one day I'll go back to 2 at a time and see if I don't have that problem anymore. But for the time, it actually they seem to go quicker if I knit them in tandem. Because knitting one sock round and round it seems to go faster. But then you have to pick up the other one and go round and round to get to the same point. So they essentially take the same amount of time. But it just seems to go faster when you're only doing one at a time. So that's kind of nice. That's a bonus of knitting them in parallel. So speaking of parallel socks, I finished a pair, which is my Hermione's Everyday Socks for my aunt, my other aunt. So that's, if I just keep going, I'll have socks for all of my aunts and uncles by the end of the month. I wasn't planning on knitting for all of them. I don't have yarn for all of them, so it's not going to happen. But anyway, I digress. These are Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern by Erica Lueder, and I did them toe up. It is written cuff down, and I did them with my own heel and toe and cuff. So I just followed the stitch pattern from the pattern. And I knit them, she wears size 11, so these are actually my man size sock blockers, extra large. These are from the Loopy U. And I knit them, I think, on like 70 stitches or 72, I don't remember. Anyway, they're very large because my mom always says that her socks are too small, so I'm now paranoid that, I mean, I have tiny feet. I mean, I was just talking about maybe doing like 58 or 56 stitches for my foot, which is ridiculous. It sounds 64, I know, is kind of like the norm, between 60 and 64. So I'm now paranoid that they're going to be too small. So these may be too big. We'll find out. I don't know. But we'll see. But it's a very stretchy stitch pattern, which is very good. And this is her favorite color. The yarn is Leading Men Fiber Arts. Their Spotlight base in Apple Bottom is the colorway. And I love the blue. It's speckly kind of blue. And there's some pops of darker blue every once in a while. They're kind of hard to find. But it's a lovely, lovely tonal. And I'm very happy with how they came out. It's a BFL nylon base, which is good because that'll be hard wearing for her. And yeah, so I finished those, and I'll be mailing those off this week, sometime this week. She has no idea she's getting them. I just asked her what her foot size was a little while ago, and so she may have imagined that she's getting socks. We'll see. Everyone's going to get socks practically this year by the end of it. But so speaking of everyone getting socks, I made up some sock labels that I wanted to show you. Sorry, there's going to be some paper crinkling. Try to do this really slowly. I realized last week that crinkling was really loud. I actually lowered the sound volume of that clip because it was so loud. I felt bad, so next time I'll take it out of the paper or the plastic beforehand. But paper wasn't too bad. So I saw on Instagram around Christmas time that Amanda Yarn Hoarder had these sock labels that she was wrapping around socks to gift them. And I was like, oh my gosh, those are brilliant. I'm like, I can just make some. So that's what I did. Ta-da! So I made some sock labels, and they say Hand Knit by Lucia, and they have my Pearl of the Pacific logo and some dots that I drew. And then, oops, that side, everything's backward. I have the fiber content and care instructions, and then my website down there at the bottom. And these also match my business cards, which of course I didn't bring any to show you, but they also have the dots across it, and then on the back is the logo. So that's really nice that they match each other in the same font and colors and all that. But I used to have business cards with the care instructions on them that I would include in the packages when I would gift socks, but I ran out of those, and I just thought these just look so professional. So I'll show you how they work. So you take the socks off the blockers, because nailing them with the blockers would not be good. And you fold them in half, and you wrap the sock wrapper around it. I called them sock wrappers for a while. And then I just put double stick tape here, and then just taped that shut. Kind of like that. You kind of have to, with these bigger socks, you kind of have to smush them. I mean, there's a lot of give here. So you could have overlap of all sorts. But that's how the front looks. Like I said, they look so professional like that. Ta-da. And then they have their fiber content, which is, this one's not right because it's 85 merino and 15% nylon. I did get them printed with a bunch of different fiber contents of like typical fiber content. So there's 85, 15, or there's a 75, 25, or like typical ones. I looked at the yarn that I typically knit with, or like yarn that I have stashed for socks this year, and kind of went with that. Like here's one with the BFL. So that's probably what will go with this sock. But this one was on top. But that's really nice that they have the care instructions, and it says, here I'll read it to you, because trying to hold it up for you to read it would be tricky. It says, for the longest lasting socks, hand wash inside out in cool water with mild detergent and lay flat to dry. If you can't wait that long, you may wash and dry them with your other laundry, and they'll be okay. So that's that. And yeah, I'm really happy with how they turned out, and really excited to gift lots of socks this year with those on them. So if you would like some of those, I just made them in, was it PowerPoint, I think, actually. I think Publisher might be better, Microsoft Publisher. You could probably do it in Word as well, but I've been working in PowerPoint a lot lately because it's easy to do layouts and things like that, which is really weird because I'm not making presentations. I'm mostly making flyers or sock labels and things like that in PowerPoint, which is weird because it's not really meant for that, but it works. I don't know if I'm going to offer to make them for other people, like sell them as like to make them for other people, but if you are interested, let me know, and I'll see if there's a lot of demand to make them, then I may do that. And then I don't know how much I'll charge. I'll have to figure that out later. But obviously I won't do Hand Knit by Lucia, and I may do a more generic design because this is obviously very specific to me and my business. So, but like the care instructions and fiber content could be whatever you wanted. And then if you had a logo or just wanted like hand knit by your name and then like some pretty pattern up on the top and bottom of like knit stitches or something. Anyway, we'll see what if people are interested in those, and then I'll figure out if I want to offer those or not. We'll see. I mean, if lots of people want them, then yeah. If no one wants them, then that's okay too. All right, so moving on. So that was one of the things from the Mainland. We kind of jumped into that. So let's keep going from the Mainland. I ordered a project bag, which I'm trying to get out of the packaging now, from a friend of mine who just started a business called The Rested Stitch on Etsy, and she takes old sweaters, like like an actual sweater, like not hand knit sweater. This is a machine bought or machine knit store-bought sweater, and makes bags out of them, which I just thought is super cool. And she has this nice little zipper pull that says The Rested Stitch on it, and you can find her on Etsy. She makes these beautiful bags, and they're interfaced and lined with this. I love this blue, so I love how those two went together. And then, it's got a nice gusset bottom to stand up. And you have, oops, something fell out. That's all right. This is like the bottom ribbing of the sweater, which I just think is so fun. And so they stand up, and it's this huge sweater bag. So it's a sweater bag made out of a sweater, which I just thought was so fun. So, ta-da! And so I'm really happy with that. And so you can find her on Etsy, as I said, as The Rested Stitch. And she's been making lots of bags this week. I know there's a lot left in her shop. She's got some argyle ones. She's got some ones like this with the cables on them. She's got some, I don't know. There's lots of fun things. You can also find her on Instagram as The Rested Stitch. And yeah, I highly recommend her bags. She's also super sweet, so you should check her out. Yay! So I'm really excited about that. huge bag. I have no idea what I'm going to put in it, but we'll see. The other thing I got from the mainland is not a tangible thing. Well, it is a tangible thing. It's my next issue of 6-Bit Storybook for knitters, and it's their winter issue, or is it? Yeah, it's the winter issue, and it's called Dwell, and is absolutely beautiful. It's a e-magazine that they put out quarterly, and which is why I don't have it with me because it's on the computer that I'm recording on. And so you should definitely check that out. It's called 6-Bit Storybook for knitters, and it's a huge, long publication with tons and tons of gorgeous pictures and patterns and articles written by lots of different people from the knitting community, and it's beautifully put together, and I can't wait to dive into this one. So this is my second issue, and I'm really excited for the next two. So yay! Let's see. Oh, from the mainland. Oh, did I put that in here? Good thing I write show notes. So the other thing that I got from the mainland was some yarn from one of the fellow choir members who sees me knitting all the time because I knit in choir all the time. And she asked if I could make her a hat and how much yarn would I need for a hat. And I told her, you know, one skein, one ball of yarn would be enough for a hat. So I said, these are the 2 local yarn shops. Go in and say you want your friend to make you a hat, and they'll help you. So she picked out this beautiful Noro, and she's Japanese, so she thought this was cool that it's made in Japan, like she's from Japan. And so it's this, ooh, there's like teal in there. I didn't see that. There's like a teal and some green and then some pink and some purple. And if I've never knit with Noro. Oh, and then there's this like mustard color. I've never knit with Noro, but it's absolutely beautiful. And it's these long color repeats. And it is a single ply. So I told her you can't, and it's not superwash. It's 100% wool. So I told her you cannot put this in the washer. She's like, I know, no. The lady at the store was like, you hand soak it. And you're very, I'm like, okay, so you get it. She'll be totally fine. She's going to treat this very well. I'm not worried at all. But look at those beautiful colors in there. So I'm really excited to knit her hat. She wants, she saw me knitting on my fluid beanie, and she wanted one of those. So this is a 50-gram ball, or 50-gram skein, and I'm hoping it will be enough. We'll see. I think it will be, because it's definitely a worsted weight. So we'll see. It's color 368, in case you were wondering. Lot A. I have no idea. There's no name on it. Curion, I think, is the name of the base, probably. And it's probably not how you pronounce it, but that's my attempt at it. So that will be getting cast on probably soon. I think I'm going to take the socks to choir today, but I think this is going to get up knit this week, get cast on and knit this week, because it's going to be super quick. And after I finish my, Sesame Street socks, I won't have any like easy socks on the go. I have 2 socks that are on the needles, but they're like, I have to look at charts and it's complicated. So they're not easily take-along projects, but this one will be. So, and I've got another all-day meeting coming up this week, so I need to have some knitting prepared. So it may be this hat, and I may have to take a second thing because I don't know if I'll finish the hat or not. We'll see. Okay, so that's it from the mainland. Oh, Flora and Fauna, I had the sock labels, but I already talked about those, so we just flip-flop some sections. From my Hale is the only thing I have left to talk about today, and I wanted to tell you all that I've signed up for Stitch Fix, which is not a knitting related thing despite the name, and I know other podcasters have talked about this too, but it's a shopping service, I guess you could call it. It's a personal shopping service where you go online, and it's a kind of a subscription thing, and you fill out like your style profile, and then however often you would like, they ship you a box with 5 items in it that they think you will like. You don't get to pick these items specifically. You can create a Pinterest board that has, you know, your style inspiration, or there's lots of ways you can tell your stylist things that you would like. You can make requests for specific things, but depending on what they have in stock, you may or may not get those things. So it's kind of up in the air. But it's been really fun. I just got my second box this week, and one of the things I had pinned directly from the Stitch Fix website was this pencil skirt, and it came in the box, and it fit perfectly, and I love it. And then the other thing I kept was a polka dot dress. And so what happens is you get this box with 5 items in it, and you can either keep all of them, or none of them, or any number in between. And what you don't want, you don't pay for, and you send back in this prepaid shipping envelope. It's super easy. And yeah, it's been great. And I'm not a shopper. I don't like going shopping. And so it's been really nice to have things just sent to me based on what someone else thinks I like. Because I'm also really bad at shopping for myself. And so to have someone else pick out things that they think I'd like. And then I get to decide, I get to try them on at home, with other things in my wardrobe. So that's kind of what makes it or breaks it for some of them. Like last time, the only thing I kept was this polka dotted skirt. And I'm like, what am I going to wear this with? It's not something I would necessarily gravitate toward in the store. But once I found things in my wardrobe that fit with it, I found this like cute little yellow sweater, and I found some heels that would be perfect with it. I'm like, okay, now I'm sold. Like now I want this thing. So then I kept it, and I sent the rest of it back. Because it just wasn't working for me. But it was just great that I had this option of like trying it on with everything that I, own and seeing what works. So if you would like to try out this service, you can contact me, and I will give you a referral code because then I get credit for it, which is really awesome. And I would really, really appreciate that. There's also a link on the website on whatever side it is that the sidebar is on, and it's right, I think it's under the Ravelry group. There's a Stitch Fix link. It's just a button under the Rav group, I think. I don't have it in front of me, so I don't remember exactly where it is, but you can also do that, and it will link to my account and give me credit for it, which is really awesome and really helpful. And yeah, so this is something I've been enjoying this week, and it was fun. It's just kind of fun to get a box of goodies in the mail that someone else picked out for you. It's great. And you can get it, I get mine like every 3 months, I think. You can get them every month. You can get them every couple weeks. You can get them, once a year. It's kind of up to you. You kind of set the frequency. And in the beginning, if you want, a lot of things, then you can get them more frequently, or and then eventually you're like, okay, my wardrobe's kind of filling up. You can get them less frequently. But it's just kind of a nice way to add a few, nice pieces to your wardrobe every once in a while. It's kind of freshen up your wardrobe, which is fun. So, yay. And I've told them I was a knitter, so they know that, and they're not going to, it's like, I have lots of knit shawls and I want to show off, so send me things that I can wear with that. Speaking of which, this is my Mrs. Tumnus that I knit years and years ago. I think I wore this on the first episode of the podcast, actually, because this I knit, I think, right before I started podcasting, and it was like the craziest, best thing I had ever knit. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. It's still one of my favorite shawls, and I wear it a lot. And it's knitted out of Highland Handmaids. I forget the base, but the colorway is called I'll Make My Own Sunshine, which she decided to dye in the middle of winter when it was snowing and gray all the time, and she's like, that's it, I'll make my own sunshine. And she dyed this bright yellow yarn, which I instantly fell in love with. I was like, I need that. So I bought it and made the Mrs. Tumnus. And it's this gorgeous crescent-shaped shawl that just kind of lays like this circle thing on my shoulders, and I love it. So, ta-da! And I'm also wearing my Keep Calm and, ooh, I'm going to have to stand up for you to see this, Carry Yarn shirt, which I love. My brother gave this to me for my birthday a few years back, and I love it. Yay! I will probably take it to the knitting pipeline retreat, so if you see someone wearing this shirt, Keep Calm, Carry Yarn, and has ridiculously long red hair, then that's me. Press, you know what I look like. I don't know why I'm trying to describe to you what I look like. You know what I don't know what you look like, so come up and say hi. All right, with that, I will say goodbye. Have a great day and a great week, and I will see you all next time. Bye!